What's going on, guys? Happy Friday, BTL episode 145 piece, joined by my guy Jovan as always, and to Jen on Fridays. Gentlemen, how we feeling?
Feeling good.
Javon's
dangerous?
Beard trim looks fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, I had
Javon's
to
looking sharp.
get it right a little bit for the holidays, you know.
Real
He's
fresh.
looking sharp. His mom will be happy. It's good. Got to keep the moms happy. Love it.
Of course.
Gentlemen, we've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of work to do today. Yesterday, hockey. There were times I wish hockey wasn't a sport.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Should we just leave it at that? Holy shit.
Yeah.
That one hurt. That was a rough day.
It was just blue balls. It was bad losses. It was OT. It was the whole shebang, the whole 9 yards. And I take blame for jinxing Calgary. That's all me. That's all me for tooting my horn. Well, I was tooting my horn. I was saying squad rides are hitting, and I'm putting the big bet on this, and it's gonna hit. Blah blah blah. And next thing you know, it loses like it always does. Sometimes you got to move in silence.
I know.
You know,
Sometimes
you got to do it. But hey, 28-15, that plays and that pays.
Yeah.
sure.
So let's get back to it and let's get the people one more winner today for a squad ride before the holidays. We're going to talk some bowls. We're going to talk, if you guys have any NBA or NHL today, God forbid, it better be a winner because I really don't want to hear too much about hockey at this hour. But if it hits, it hits, and I want to hear it. We'll go over that. Maybe touch on some CBBs. There's not many games. And then obviously build the weekend cheat sheet. So we've got work to do. How did we do yesterday? You guys survived the day, betting wise?
Barely.
Barely. You know what's funny? Talking about squad rides, some of the professional bettors I follow, everybody's different, but they preach like flat betting. Because long term, if you trust your systems and your style, if you flat bet, you're going to win more than you lose. You're going to be profitable. It's where increasing your units and pressing. If you win 4 straight and then you're feeling good at 1 unit, then you go 5 units on a bet and lose it, you give it all back. I just am not that way. I like to press. I find more success pressing, but when it comes to units, maybe not like percentages and whatnot, but in terms of profitability. But yeah, last night I went 3 units on the Flames after having a decent day. Basically breaking even on the day. But it's always a reminder. It's like, fuck, I just would have been consistent with my units. It wouldn't have been that bad. But then it's complete opposite feeling whenever you hit. You feel great.
If it hits, you're saying I should have put more on it. What the hell am I doing being responsible? That was a lot.
But you did put more on it. So that's the one time I don't say that. I'm like, I'm glad I successfully did that. But yeah, it's like a back and forth debate of what's right and wrong in terms of styles of betting. But Jovan, do you increase your units or are you a flat better?
I'm pretty flat most of the time.
That's smart. That's what smart people do.
Just a little bit.
I can't do it.
Yeah, flat betting, it definitely is responsible and smart. It's very, very tough to do, but it's definitely probably the most profitable way to do it, right? If you bet everything 1 unit and trust yourself, trust your handicap, trust your brain, right? Trust your line reading, and you should be up money at the end of the year. It's very hard to be that disciplined.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny the youngest one on here has it. So, Dejen, we got some work. We got some work to do in the new year, buddy. We got some work to do. All right.
Well, the only time I do, splurge a little bit is when I have like you were gonna do with the 3 bets, including Utah, but not including Utah. I have 3 that I'm very confident go 2-1 in a day, and I'm feeling good on a good little streak. Then maybe I'll press a little bit, but otherwise, try to be responsible.
The big 3. I call that the big 3.
Yeah, big 3.
Love betting in odd numbers because I hate going 2-2 and eating juice. That's the worst. Who the hell wants to do that?
Yeah.
Who the hell wants to do that? If you're betting in even numbers, grow the fuck up. Put out an odd number of bets so you have a chance. All right. Love the big 3. Love the big 3. The big 1. I also love the big 1 when it hits. When it doesn't, though, I hate it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of football on Saturday, which is weird. I kind of want to do the same thing and start on Sunday and work back. So that way when people are coming on towards the end of stream more, we're talking about more stuff coming up sooner. You guys in?
Yeah, that's fine.
Good with me.
Cool. All right. Let's talk about Sunday real quick. Christmas Day. We've got some NFL games, right? I think we've got 3. We've got Packers, Dolphins. We've got Denver and the Rams. And then we've got the night game, Tampa and the Cards. I don't know what those teams have done to deserve being on a night game. I guess Tom Brady has a little bit of credibility, but let's dive into these, I guess, quickly. Packers, Dolphins. Jovan, what are you thinking here? Are the Packers getting a little too much respect? Do you think the Dolphins bounce back after 3 tough losses here? What are you thinking?
That's the thing, because it feels like a number where I am fighting every ounce of my being to not take the Packers. But the one problem is I do expect the Dolphins to bounce back at some point very, very soon from those couple of losses and start to build some momentum going into the playoffs. And they have a decently tough schedule, I guess, if you want to talk about the in-division defenses they're going to face the next 2 weeks with the Patriots and Jets. Very winnable games, but going to be tough for them. So I probably am going to end up staying away from this game. I feel like it is. I know it's a Dolphins game, so we always see these type of totals, but it feels maybe a touch high for a Packers game, the way their offense has been playing over the course of the season, maybe the last couple of weeks too. So maybe lean the over, but I really don't want to touch a side.
Jen, what are you thinking about this one, man? You like the Packers here to keep rolling, or are you trying to catch the falling knife with the Finns here?
No, I do like the Packers. I hope I'm not being duped because they're getting it together, and I am hearing a little, they can still make the playoffs, and if you get Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, they could make some noise. I don't know, but I kind of just like the line, and I've pointed this out a little bit on Twitter and whatnot, but seeing these teams open up around 5.5, 6 points, and then getting hit hard early with money, and the line moving at least 2 points quick, they've been cashing. And the one I remember, the earliest one, was when the Niners played in Atlanta. They opened, I think, 6.5. That line got down to 4.5, 4 quickly and closed at, I think, 3 or 3.5. There was no buyback at all. Atlanta won outright. And then in back-to-back weeks, we've seen it. Panthers at the Seahawks, 6-4, won outright. And then the Jags at home against the Cowboys, 6-4, won outright. So it's the line that I'm keeping an eye on in this last few weeks of the season, where the early movement, those dogs continue to cash. I'm not going to get greedy with the money line here, but I will be on a side with the Packers. The total is rising like crazy. And it makes so much sense to go over, but I do think this kind of reminds me of that Dolphins-Chargers total that was also moved about 3.5, 4 points. Very public. I think a very contrarian bet would be taking the under here. Not saying I'm going to do it, but I'll be on the Packers for just a unit.
Jovan, you lean the Packers for now?
I do lean the Packers. I'm just struggling to get myself to do it. I think
Packers are no bet, though, you think?
Yeah, it could be a decent spot. Honestly, I might look for a little Dolphins ML live bet if they go down. I think this has a strong chance to be a field goal win for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. Well, we'll go with the Packers as a lean for now. I think I'm with that too, unless we see some weird line movement come Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the play. Don't catch the falling knife. Maybe the Dolphins are still a little trendy. And that total is moving up, but it is public, so it's moving with the money. I like it. I don't love it. I like it. I don't love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we move to Denver and the Rams, the game of the week. Russ isn't playing, I'm pretty sure, out with a concussion. Somebody confirm. The line's moved to -3. And we've got the Rams here at home who, their season's done. Both these teams' seasons are done. Are you guys playing anything in this shit bowl? Do you guys recommend? We haven't really done a show where we've gotten to this point at the end of the NFL season. Do you guys like betting on games with two teams that have nothing to play for? Like, give me your lean on this game and give me your thoughts on betting on a shit bowl like this. We can start with Jovan.
Yeah, I don't particularly care for betting, at this point of the season, betting games where neither team really has stuff to play for, especially when there's kind of the quarterback equation or quarterback entered into the equation for either team or both teams in this circumstance. So that makes it tough. I don't know if I like anything in this game. I do think, kind of going back to just the general totals, I know that's making, the weather making a lot of games hard to read this week. So I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing unders in some of these indoor games or non-weather games like this one, even like a Miami, I guess, even though I kind of don't think I'll play that one, or even one in Arizona with the Bucs game. So those are all on the same day too. So I guarantee you, after we see a lot of unders, which I don't even know which ones I'm going to go to yet, we can talk about that in a second. On Saturday, we got 3 indoor games on Sunday.
Yeah. Good point. Great point to bring up for the people too, so they know, so they're aware. Me personally, I'm not a meteorologist, and I don't feel like being one this weekend. I've got enough going on, having to hang out with my family. So I'm going to not bet any totals, I don't think, this weekend, because I don't really feel like being the weather boy. And I'm going to go with that. But if you guys have an edge, obviously let me know and let's hear it. Okay. I'm all ears and I'm down to tail, but I personally just don't want to be the weather guy this weekend. A lot of factors going on, and I'm not trying to outsmart the books with that because they probably got their own weather guys working right now overtime. Who knows? So any bets on this, Jovan? Any bets on this game?
None for me.
Jen, you like anything else?
I'm going to be on the Broncos as long as Russell isn't playing. I fucking love it. And to get to your point, I don't particularly like betting on these games necessarily, but they do become obscure, which is, again, where sharp bettors take the advantage of the most in college sports. The games that nobody is paying attention to, so it's not really heavily bet public-wise, but those line moves that money and those bettors are I think, the sharpest of the sharp. So, but it's not even really just following the line move. I love that it's going 1-3. I hope that it's not on like inside information that Russ might play. I don't know if he's like confirmed out.
It's already ruled out. I've heard he's ruled out.
Okay, good. Then I love that. Then it's just fading the Rams, which I love to do. I hate the Rams. When they beat the Raiders, it sucked for our Raiders investment, but I couldn't wait to fade them catching 7
investment.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's like a
I love that.
It feels like.
Is that what we're calling these? Is that what we're calling these plus 700 futures now?
I took their win total over too, unfortunately. But,
that's a real investment.
That's
more of a 50-50. Okay.
I loved fading the Rams last week. I'm not gonna love fading them again, but I'm gonna like fading them this week too. I'll be on Denver on the money line, probably just a unit.
Is this looking like it's gonna be Ripien versus Baker?
I hope so, man.
Think so.
What we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's the case, then yeah, I might have to be on Denver myself, -3 Ripien against Baker, because the Rams and Baker, I think, will still be trendier than Ripien and the Broncos. And to be honest with you, Ripien has looked okay, and nobody's even talked to Peep about it. So I'm cool with backing that. I'm cool with backing that. Wilson cleared last week. He's going to start, people are saying.
Russell isn't ruled out. Yeah, that's what concerns me. I don't want to buy the good news if that's the case.
No way. Hold on.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll wait on that one. We'll see. We'll see on that one.
Okay. Gosh, man, I swear I saw earlier this week he's out, and I can't find anything on it right now. Let's see. Why don't we talk about Sunday Night Football? This is a good game. I'm happy you guys are on here, obviously, because this is your team. Jovan, take us to Arizona. Is Tom packing up shop? Is he looking for his next supermodel? Is he looking for his next one-night stand over the holidays to come down and show up his ex? What is he doing here? Is he focused about football? Is Tom locked in or what? What's going on here?
I mean, I think he's definitely not locked in, but like,
no,
so I look at this game. I look at this game, right, and usually say there's no business, even with Trace McSorley starting, for the Bucs the way they've been playing, to be laying 7.5, 8. So usually that would make me want to take them, but I want to fade them. I want to go with the Cardinals and Trace McSorley, because as much as it has to do with Tom and how not locked in he may not look, this team can't hold a lead because of the coaching and because of the play calling. It gets very conservative when they go up, which is why they blew the big lead against the Bengals. So I haven't seen enough consistency from a play calling standpoint, even from a defensive standpoint. When they get up, they play 10 yards off the wide receivers and just let them chunk down the field. So I just don't see how they win this game by more than a touchdown. I would be fine with taking Trace McSorley to keep this one close.
The Jen, thoughts?
Love it.
Dying Bucks.
Love it. Yeah, I really wish it was Colt McCoy. Obviously, it would be a smaller number, which I don't mind. I kind of like Colt McCoy as a dog, but I'm okay with McSorley. Usually my brain works where I think it's too many points. I think it's for a reason, and the dog becomes trendy, and I would take the favorite. Not in this case. I still think Vegas is valuing Brady over a third string quarterback in a dead team like the Cardinals, but everything Jovan said is kind of spot on. You can't trust the Bucs with that many points, so I'll be on the Cardinals.
Yep, Bucs are very, 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 very public. Shocker. I really hope this gets to 7, but it's looking like it might be going to 8, which would make sense with all. I mean, there's a ton of bets and money on Tampa already, and hey, we got a couple days, but I hate taking plus 7.5. I know you guys get it too, right? That's kind of a little bit of a trappy dog number typically. But against the GOAT with Trace McSorley, sure. Yeah, that'll still play. All right. Awesome. And then I think there's a college basketball game on Sunday. Jovan, I should have given you a heads up before just bringing this up blindly, but Creighton and DePaul play on Christmas at 4:30 on Fox. Jen, be honest, did you even know that was happening? Because most people don't.
Fuck no.
Yeah, most people don't, because they don't play college basketball games on Christmas. I don't know why they're doing this, to be honest with you. But I'm not complaining. I'm happy. I don't think there's a spread out yet. Chat, can somebody be a superhero and do a little bit of digging and see if they can find a spread on this Sunday basketball game, DePaul and Creighton? If anybody's got time on their hands?
It can be out. Yeah,
it could be out. It could be out.
What would you set the line at? How about that?
So
4.5.
It's at the CenturyLink, that's where Creighton plays, right? CenturyLink Center. Let me just triple check that, okay? Before we dive into capping these lines.
Yeah, it looks like that. Look at this.
Yeah, that's where they play.
Did you guys end up playing Creighton yesterday? Because that was a big number. I almost
no, but it was free. It was free.
Yeah,
it was free. And I need to look up that stat line and see how Kalkbrenner played and how many minutes he played. But I mean, Creighton rolled with Kalkbrenner back last night. I mean, look, it was a little square. I was off Creighton because of the good news, but it makes a lot of sense why they played a lot better because Kalkbrenner is pretty much their entire team. It's night and day when he's in the lineup for them. He's a 7'1" paint beast.
Yeah.
They clapped up Butler. Now they're playing Creighton. Let's see. Or now they're playing DePaul on Sunday. Kalkbrenner played 29 minutes. That's a lot more than I thought. He had 19 points. Only 4 rebounds, though. But he's been a freak. He's been an offensive weapon. G Unit has minus 14.5 for Creighton. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be that big.
I was going to say 12.
I was going to say like 9. But
I thought DePaul was good.
It's still I mean, DePaul's okay. They're coming off a couple spankings. I mean, they lost by 40 to Northwestern their last game.
Right.
They're okay. They're nothing special. They're definitely, mid-tier of that conference or maybe even a little bit below. And everyone's going to be saying Creighton's back after Kalkbrenner and they spanked Butler. So we'll see. I mean, honestly, you know how my brain works. If this number is within 10, I'll probably be on DePaul. But if Creighton's laying 15 here, I'm probably out and they probably roll, to be honest with you. It's not like they're in great shape right now and, can be willing to kind of play light and let off the gas. They've got to beat everybody by as much as they can. They've been shit. This team was ranked 2 weeks ago. You guys agree?
So
yeah, I think this is the way that I want to see it play out. Ideally, I think they come out, smoke DePaul this game, and then they host Seton Hall on the coming Tuesday after New Year's. I think they have a letdown game that game, and then they go on the road and cover against UConn.
Wow! So you're already in the next year. You've already got this all scheduled.
I'm just looking. I'm just mapping it out. Mapping it out exactly how I want to see it.
Love it.
Okay, so you think Creighton might roll in the spot here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll keep it off then, and let's move to Saturday. We got no bowl games on Sunday. Let's move back to Saturday. All right. We've got plenty of football then. Let's stay with NFL. All right. Pretty much every game coming up here. My favorite play of Saturday for NFL is by far and by none. It's the Panthers plus 2.5 at home against the Lions.
Might as well.
I know that the Lions get no respect on the lines. I don't care. This is the Panthers getting 2.5 points against one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And I'm going to take that shit to the bank, and it's going to cash because no one's going to be betting on it. Don't overthink it. You don't have to overthink NFL. And to be honest with you, I've been extremely impressed with what I've seen out of the Panthers' rush attack after McCaffrey's left. I don't know if that O-line took it personally. I don't know if they kind of leveled up. And like I said, kind of took it to heart with McCaffrey running out. But they've looked great, and Chuba Hubbard's been pretty good the last couple of weeks. They got Deonta Foreman, who's kind of been a stud for them too. Don't let the Panthers get hot. They're also not mathematically eliminated because the NFC blows. So Panthers are hanging around. The spread moved from +4 to +2.5. Give me the Panthers at home. I'll keep it at that. It at that.
Sure.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. What are we thinking?
I love it. That's one of my favorite plays of the entire weekend.
Oh, Jovan's giving me that look though, where he's about
Javon's
to say.
got that look. Javon's got that look.
He's giving that look again.
I'm going to root for you guys in silence. The very first thing, because I know it's Super Public, so I will certainly not be on the Lions, but I've seen about 5 or 6 Bleacher Report, ESPN articles, notifications about Jared Goff in the cold, because somehow it's still a thing as he's continued to prove otherwise. And I've seen stats come up. First Take was talking about it, I think, the other day when they were talking about this game. I can't do it. I think there's going to be some very public spots, whether it's unders or whether it's that. I don't know if that's the one, so I'm not going to be betting it, but I'll root for it.
Wow.
All right. Well, I'm not giving up. DeGen, you're not either.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm glad to hear that. It's
okay.
I guess tread lightly, but I'm so – even if they're coming out with those, I can't imagine anybody's going to buy into it because he just won in New York. And and I mean, I know that they, were held to 13 points for most of the game, but I still think he played fairly well.
Mhm.
I think the offense did okay. But, I mean, I guess in terms of like how they played when they were in no way Carolina covers.
There's no
You
way.
know, I love kind of Krabs getting back to what Jared Goff has been incredible. Getting back to what you were saying about like spreads, you hate taking a dog at 7.5. I hate taking a favorite at 2.5.
Correct.
And that's why I started to fall in love with the Steelers at the Cardinals last weekend. I'm sorry, at the Panthers last weekend. The Panthers were 2.5, riding high. Mitch Trubisky coming in town, and then the week before that, I really liked the Ravens at the Steelers. Steelers were 2.5, and both those dogs won outright. And you keep looking back, USC 2.5 against Utah. Utah wins outright. I feel like that's such bait to get you to take the team that is riding high, the better team. And all they got to do is win by a field goal. So because they're at that number, if they were to stay at 4, I feel like that's kind of the right line on the road, given the time of year and everything. I love the Panthers, man. I guess I'm not surprised to still hear about these articles coming out, whether it's Bleacher Report or Action Network, but I'd have to say that if you ask people who read those, that it's not going to sway their opinion. I think they're going to go with the Lions. So I trust the data showing that I think they're the heaviest bet. It's either them or the Bengals that are most public bet of the weekend. The line would scare the shit out of me if I back the Lions here. So I'm for sure rock solid on the Panthers.
88% of bets on the Lions spread. 87% of bets on the Lions ML. It's early though. There's still some time. But I'll tell you right now, I mean, barring any changes, I'll be on the Panthers. Jovan, I appreciate the support. Let's get this kid some pom-poms and let's teach him some routines. He's cheerleading for us this weekend.
Yeah.
Because he's too scared to play him. Just play him. Come on. Play him with us. No, you can't do it? Damn it. No. All right. Jovan, what's your favorite play of Saturday for NFL, bro? What do you like?
Oh, my God. It's so tough. It's so tough because, honestly, I would say out of the entire NFL slate, I think the Cardinals stands out so much further than everybody else. But I'll tell you my favorite, because I was looking at a lot of live spots, because I think that's the way that I'm going to primarily go this weekend with all the, I'm not going to try and be Al Roker. But I will be live lining the hell out of the Titans if they go down or they're tied in this game with Malik Willis going up against the Texans, because say it makes sense, call it whatever. The Texans are not allowing themselves to lose these games. They keep finding the most creative ways to tank, and it's the best I've ever seen. They're doing it better than I think any team in history in any sport has done. They are tanking in different ways every week. They brought out 2 QB systems. They're, Cooks doesn't even want to play. Nico Collins is out. Dameon Pierce is hurt. I mean, the Titans in this game and the weather too. I'm not going to try and make it any cuter. I think that's the main look that I'm going to go after. But I also like the under in the Ravens-Falcons game, which is also probably pretty simple and pretty square, but it is what it is.
Did you say that you were looking to live bet the Titans? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. If it's close, I'm live lining the money line. If it's not, I'm live lining them to take this one by 20. But I don't think so.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't know if this one will be close. And I don't know what this line's been doing. Has anybody had eyes on this line moving around?
Yeah, it came back quite a bit because Tannehill's out for the year.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bad news. I think Tennessee rolls. I think Derrick Henry, it's going to be Derrick Henry, greatest game of all time game. I think he absolutely grubs, and I think he gets the ball like 30 times and has 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. It's going to be his legacy game of the year. Thoughts to Jen? How much money you got on Houston's?
Houston? Brother. I came to the conclusion just last night when I was doing an NFL space that I think the Titans are the nastiest play on the board.
Wow.
And then I'm actually, I think I might be the only person that's going to have a parlay 2-team money line with Malik Willis and Tyler Huntley, because there's no fucking way the Falcons are beating the Ravens. And just like Jovan said, the Texans are not winning games. And everybody's talking about Derrick Henry. Watch out for Malik Willis rushing yards. That would be one of my props. I bet you he's got all rushing yards over like 80 or 70. I'd see what the juice is on that. We know he's not good, right? We've seen him play. And And then on the flip side of that, the Falcons, people love Desmond Ridder. The Falcons are going to be a trendy dog. Tyler Huntley just had a terrible game. I don't know why they threw the ball 30 times.
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. They had 200 yards rushing, and they come out of Cleveland with 3 points against a not very good Cleveland defense anyway. But, the Falcons are a trendy dog. I think it's a terrible spot for Atlanta, especially after just playing a divisional road game in a dome.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're coming up and playing in awful weather. Also, I saw there was the passing prop line for Desmond Ridder is the lowest all season. 140.5. I'm telling you right now, I've been silly and I've joked with you about like the Cowboys in a few spots where their money line against the Bears, like just set and forget it. My set and forget it lay will be the Ravens. They're not losing to the Falcons. I know people are going to be cute with the money line because the Ravens don't cover spreads, even with Lamar Jackson. And yes, I agree with Jovan. I'm not gonna say I love the Texans, the Titans, but they're just not losing. The Texans aren't winning. They don't want to win this game.
I know. They'll find a new way. They'll run a play we've never seen before to result in like back-to-back touchdowns or some shit.
Yeah,
for
that's
their
what they did in Dallas.
They're incredible at tanking. They're really good at it. They're innovating. They're innovative. They deserve credit. They do. Incredible. All right, little Tennessee Baltimore moneyline parlay. Sure we can.
Love that.
Okay.
Krabs, you see the line in San Fran? Crossing 7.
Oh,
why?
Wait.
Why is it doing it?
Which way?
6.5.
Oh, I like the commies, Krabs. Tell me you agree.
Actually,
tell
obviously.
Me you disagree.
No, I like them, and I'm going to probably be on them. So sorry, but look at what look at what the look at what the 49ers are doing. The 49ers are the best team to ever exist.
Yeah.
We've seen random fans come in the chat. I've never seen them chat before, type it in all caps today, 49ers Super Bowl, and then they leave. Like I've seen that a couple times today in the chat. The 49ers are going ballistic. Like their fan base is going nuts. I think this is the all-time high for the 49ers, at least how they're feeling. I mean, they literally haven't lost since they got McCaffrey. I think it's been like 7 games in a row at this point. Absolutely incredible. They run the shit out of the ball. Look, this is the best defense though that Brock Purdy's seen in his career. And I think we've got something to prove. I mean, we could not be coming off. You couldn't buy the Commanders defense lower, I don't think, for how good they are after that performance last week, which was hilariously bad. Not getting a sack on Daniel Jones and letting Saquon literally steal our lunch money and go about his day. Now, am I concerned about our rush defense and how they've gotten a little bit worse in the last couple of weeks? Yeah, I am, because the 49ers run the living shit out of the ball and they're good at it. But why the fuck is the spread moving to 6.5? I don't know. I think one of these two defenses score. I talked about this earlier. I'm probably going to put like a quarter unit on 49ers defense special teams to score at +500, which I thought was a little short, by the way, when I saw that. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to be sprinkling on that. I'll sprinkle on Manders +800 defense special teams. I think we force Brock Purdy to make a bad decision and make a play happen, or maybe Gibson finally breaks one loose. He's been so close returning kicks. He's right there, and I know he's going to break one off this year. Maybe it's tomorrow. I like the Manders. Buy low. From what I've been hearing in the clubhouse, the vibes could not be higher, which shocks me, especially because vibes are always dead with the Manders. And after that loss, too, I thought we'd be dead. The vibes are high as shit with Chase Young back, with all these guys making the Pro Bowl, Reeves making the Pro Bowl. It's been a great story. I know you guys have heard about it. Vibes are high in Washington, and we're going to go there like we did 2 years ago, and we're going to beat them outright is what we're going to do. And we're going to fucking make the playoffs because it doesn't make any sense. And the 49ers the stock could not be higher. So, yeah, I'm down to fade the fuck out of it. Let's get after it.
Jovan, you agree?
Yeah, I don't think they'll win all right, but the cover certainly caught my eye. And I was looking at these sack lines. I was really surprised that we didn't see they give out few threes, but I was kind of expecting one with the 49ers on Prize Picks. So I wouldn't be shocked if this is the situation where there's a lot of these games where I look at these and there's one very obvious side. And I say one of the couple this week would be to take 49er sacks. So I might take the Commanders over at 2 after not getting a sack on Daniel Jones all game.
Yeah. That was I've never even – it doesn't even make any sense. How do you not get one sack in a game in any scenario, any team? I feel like that's pretty standard. Even the worst team in the league plays the best O-line in the league, they're probably still going to get a sack. What the fuck were we doing?
I mean, he's a running quarterback, but
he was chilling in the pocket a good amount. He looked very poised back there and made some great throws. Daniel Jones is Mahomes against the Commanders. It is impeccable, and we are the reason he still has his job because he's gotten like 2/3 of his wins in his career against us, which is fucking ridiculous.
You know, after I was on your show last week and I told you I would take Max Duggan tomorrow instead of Daniel Jones to lead my franchise, I got chirped in the chat. You know, I was hoping for him to lose that game, but it's funny because you said he's Mahomes against us. He still had like 160 yards passing. That is his Mahomes. That's the best Danny Jones is going to do. So it infuriated me to see them come out with the win. I bet the Commanders with you because I knew you were at the game. But, yeah, it's frustrating, but I agree. It's buy low, sell high in this situation. I love that the total's trending down 39.5, 37.5. I think I could see the Commanders winning this game. There's always a teaser buster. There's a survivor buster every week. I know we're late in the season, so we're kind of past that, but I think the Niners, I don't play the do theory too often, but I think they could slip up a little bit in this game. And I know they've had extra time to prepare, but it all just makes too much sense. So like you said, Krabs, none of it makes sense. That's why I like the Commanders.
Yep. And Chase Young's best game in his career was against the 49ers 2 years ago. God, I can't find that fucking tweet where you returned that kick. I will find it. Here we go. Or no, what is this? This is just Trent Williams being the GOAT. I don't want to watch that. Also, Trent Williams revenge game, great. You got, I mean, the whole Trent Williams situation that we botched, man, this has got to be it. This is it. 2 years ago, you're going to see this again. Chase Young just being a maniac ball hawk, picking that shit up and running with it like it's a loaf of bread. How about you put that shit under your fucking arm, brother? Whatever, though. He's a freak.
He's gonna go. He's gonna go Kayvon Thibodeau, just like that guy went. He fucking single-handedly won the game for the Giants. I feel like.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
Freak.
Do I think the line move is because of Chase Young? No, because we've known that he's going to be back for a couple days. Although actually yesterday was officially announced, but I was hearing some stuff the day before. I don't know. You never know what the books know and don't know about injuries. I always have the perception is that they know earlier. I think it's just better to be that way because they are smart and that's their job to know shit. Right. So I always assume that they know stuff before we do. And Chase Young probably could have played last week, and it makes a lot of sense why he didn't play Sunday Night Football. You know, short week in the freezing cold, going to now play Saturday against San Fran. Like, I don't even know if he would have been able to play this Saturday if he did play on Sunday. So with the guys tired on a short week, maybe it's a good thing we get fresh legs, even though they might not be as good as they used to be. I'm very, very, very curious to see how fast he looks because the videos of him in practice, not good. Not good. We move. Commanders plus 6.5. Moral of the story, that's the play. That's the play. What's your favorite play today, Dejan? Or today? Saturday.
Well, it was the
NFL play.
It was the Panthers, but I'll I mean, I could give you another one, and I feel like this actually could also up there for contender of the grossest play, but it's got to be the Patriots, unfortunately. Don't want to fade Joey Burrow, man. I like this guy, I really do. 18-4 ATS run. The Bengals defense and these second half adjustments are just unbelievable, dating back to last year. And I mean, we do have to say, like, that was the most contrarian bet on the board last week was the Bucs. You just had to play it. First half, man, the Bucs look great. I think it was, what was it? Were they up 17-0, 17-3? But man, it's this team, their defense can just create plays and get that momentum, and then Burrow delivers. You know, they're dangerous. They're dangerous. So given all that, and we just saw them in this same exact spot on the road against a struggling team, and the same line, I figured this would be inflated a little bit more. And the fact that it's not, this is your like textbook bend don't break situation. And if you don't want to bet the Patriots here, I have no problem with you sitting on the sideline. But this is where I would caution betting the Bengals. Because last week just happened even more so. And on the flip side, you got the Patriots who are just coming off in one of their most embarrassing losses in Bill Belichick's history as a coach. We've heard it all week. I don't think they're very good. And I think Bill Belichick deserves a fuck ton of blame an embarrassment for putting Matt Patricia and Joe Judge in charge of this offense. But the spread is what it is, man. They're the second most heavily bet team. It's 3.5 down to 3. I got to take the Patriots with the points here.
Matt's saying, let's say the Raiders don't get that touchdown, go their way to tie the game. Pats don't go on to make the dumbest play of the year. Where does this line open at, if that's the case?
I'm not even really so sure that last fluke play really affects the spread that much. Do you think it does? Half a point? I don't know.
Maybe half. Maybe you get the hook with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much they factor in fucked up laterals. I genuinely don't know. They could just take that play out of their cap because it was the most ridiculous play ever. I have no clue. I have no idea. Unfortunately, I agree, and I probably will be on the Pats this week. It sucks that it's the Pats. I always feel like it's not right to be betting on the Pats because they're the Pats. I feel like it feels too safe and too good because of how dominant they've been in my lifetime, at least. But in this spot, I mean, come on. Don't have a choice. Jovan, thumbs up, thumbs down. What are you thinking, bro?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to play it. That's one of those you have to play. Similar to spot against the Bengals last week, do we see everybody, take a stab at and fail, myself included? Just happened. So no way it happens again, right?
Yeah. Were you at that game, Jovan?
I was, unfortunately.
That second half was brutal.
Yeah, it was painful.
Yeah, we don't have to relive it. Go ahead, Krabs. Sorry.
You guys taking any stabs on Philly with Hurts out and Minshew, or not? Because Dallas is also coming off of a bad spot, a bad loss in OT with the pick six. I mean, you could have the same thought process with that pick six that bounced off a couple people and ended up in the Jags winning, right? Does that even matter? But they still lost, right? And they haven't covered their last 2, haven't covered 3 of their last 4. Cowboys defense the last couple weeks has given up more points, I think, than they have in the last 2 months. So they're not looking, as sharp as they were a couple weeks ago. That defense is still elite and on paper should handle Gardner Minshew, but you never know what's going to happen with that Minshew madness once he gets in the game. Thoughts on this game? Are you buying the bad news or are you staying off because the Cowboys are coming off a loss too? Jovan, I'll start with you.
I'm good on this game, to be honest with you. The line movement is primarily what's keeping me off because we saw it balloon to 5.5, 6, and then the Eagles became a very popular play, and now we're seeing the line come down to 4.5-ish most places you look. So this is just a really confusing game. I've seen a lot of the narrative too of everybody loves Minshew first of all, and then you have the whole he hasn't practiced all week. He's been at Mike Leach funeral, so it's going to be a very emotional game for him, and he should be able to do something against the Cowboys. I just really don't want any part of that. I think it's going to be a great game, but I can see this one landing in a field goal. I can see this one being ugly. I don't know.
Yeah, and we also just saw Baker Mayfield get picked up off the streets and play incredible in his first game. You could see people who missed out on that, right? Try to back this narrative with Minshew coming in, playing with his old coach, back in that narrative about Coach Leach, right? And I think people just enjoy fading the Cowboys, and the Eagles are debatably one of the best teams in the NFL, if not the best team in the NFL. So, yeah, it's probably I'm probably off it too, but I want to hear what our guy DeGen has to say about this game.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I certainly never thought about playing the Eagles, but I love Gardner Minshew. I think he's probably the most popular backup quarterback in the league. So usually, you consider this bad news when your MVP, candidate Jalen Hurts quarterback goes down. But because Minshew is so trendy and so popular, it's kind of not. So now people see a lot of value with the points, this big of a dog for the Eagles, and then you parlay the fact that the Cowboys look like shit the past 2 weeks. I think it's Cowboys or nothing for me. And I got to tell you, I think if the Cowboys win, they probably win convincingly. I don't think it's even around this number. And it's just one of those where I don't think anybody sees it coming. I'd have to imagine. I mean, think if you're going to tease the Eagles getting 11.5, don't you already think you're cashing that? Given how bad the Cowboys have looked, how good the Eagles are, and with a guy like Minshew, I mean, and I've heard it too. I've heard people talk about it. It's like, oh, we don't expect much of a drop off with Minshew getting plugged in this offense.
Who the fuck said that?
People on VSiN, all these beat
Hey,
reporters.
Who the hell is saying that?
There
I want
has
names.
been a weird amount of talk lately. We're getting down to like the MVP, and they're discussing who's going to win it now that Hurts is missing a game or two here. And there's been a lot of talk saying you can plug anybody else into this offense and get the same exact results.
That's a good point, actually.
That's something I've seen a lot on TV too.
Yeah. I have heard that all year. Heard that all year. These the analysts will be like, well, I mean, does he deserve the MVP? People being like, oh, yeah, I mean, anyone could be playing good against this, or anyone could be playing well in this system, right? That's kind of been their bit. So you're right. I'm giving you shit, but you're correct.
And we're seeing it with Brock Purdy. So it's the Eagles' offense is a phenomenal system, but it really
too many newbies have been playing a little too good. Too many guys coming in out of left field and short time and not good, and Rando McGee. Too many of these guys have been working out of late, right? It's that can't be sustainable.
Totally agree. I totally agree.
I mean, come on. Maybe this is the one that flops.
Yeah. And I again, I like Minshew. I like the Eagles, and I was wrong about Sirianni. I don't like Mike McCarthy. I don't really care for the Cowboys. I don't want to bet the Cowboys, but if I did, I'd probably even beef up the spread. I'd take like an alt line. I think they win convincingly.
Okay. All right. Any other games, any other NFL games on Saturday that you guys want to talk about? We haven't touched on the Saints game or the Giants game.
I want to go to the Giants game because there's definitely some prop looks when I'm looking at that game. I'm scared to touch the total. Scared to touch the total a little bit because this move specifically up to like 48.5, 49, especially being that this is, again, one of the this might be the only indoor game on Saturday, but one of the few overall in the week with all the unders that people are going to be taking in the outdoor games that are affected by the weather. This is something I'm scared to take the total, but we see a couple for the Giants. First of all, Darius Slayton, who I guess has disappointed a lot of people, including myself as a Darius Slayton fantasy owner. Last couple weeks, I guess you could say, he finally gets a good matchup where it's a team where you can take the top off the defense, which that's really only where he gets his production in these long catches. So I'm going to be looking at his longest reception over, his receiving yards over, all of that. And then also looking at Daniel Jones, if you remember the little Prize Picks promo thing where he was the taco at 1.5 touchdowns, or the 1.5 combo touchdown square. That was the only one of the quarterbacks that didn't hit, and now he's hanging this again, which, granted, it's not for any reason, or not for no reason against the Vikings defense that has impressed absolutely nobody, especially against the Colts last week. But I don't know how many people are going to be running to take that after it failed as a taco after being brought down from 2, and they're hanging the same number this week with a good matchup for Slayton. I would love for him to get hit on a bomb. I just think the Giants are going to score points. I think it comes really close to that total and might just sneak under.
You're talking about that Daniel Jones over 1.5 pass rush and receiving touchdowns prop?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. The Slayton one's sharp. I mean, he's going to get that in one catch. He's going to get that one catch. It's not like he's going up against an elite defense either. I mean, Harrison Smith is about to qualify for AARPs. He's about the only guy in that secondary that I give a shit about, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's only good against teams that he can take the top off of, and we see it time and time again. That's why he struggled the last couple of weeks. So much better matchup. Very matchup dependent guy.
Okay. All right. I'm surprised he didn't do more against us, to be honest with you, on Sunday, but it was freezing cold.
Yeah.
And they were running the living shit out of the ball. So makes sense. The first game against us a couple weeks ago, he had a bomb that changed the entire dynamic of the game, and I think resulted in them tying us, which was fucked. So
yeah.
Fuck that guy, but I like his prop. Come on. I do. To Jen, any thoughts on who covers that game? Giants +4, Vikings -4?
No, I don't have a strong lean. I think that more kind of listening to what Jovan was saying about that, if anything, it makes me, if I was slightly leaning the Vikings, I'm off, but not a good enough read. Not even worth spending time on picking my brain on it.
And then Saints Browns. Does anybody have a lean in that they want to talk about? I sure as hell don't.
I think the line is a little suspect. You lean Saints. I mean, it looks like the Browns are pretty public. I don't want to play the Saints. If anything, I actually think there's going to be some points scored in this game. Total's down at 52.5. Yeah, I mean, I just think these two offenses, for the Saints, you've got to run Taysom Hill 15 to 20 gadget plays here, and it's gonna be awful. I don't see Andy Dalton doing anything in this weather, and hopefully the Saints are smart enough to think that. And then obviously the Browns match up well. They didn't put up many points last week at home. I think we get some points that, if anything, I would play the over. I know we're not going to focus on totals too much, but no strong lean.
Okay. Would this be the grossest weather over to take out of all the games? Is Cleveland supposed to be the worst?
By
Do we know?
Yeah,
by far.
Not supposed to be the worst by far. I don't even know that, but I mean, this is the grossest one. Saints with Andy Dalton and no Olave. What are they going to do? How are they going to score? Chubb hasn't been getting the amount of carries that he's probably going to get this week, and he hasn't been particularly good either. Same with Deshaun. So this would definitely be the grossest one.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Keep that in our back pockets.
Taysom is the make sense prop too that I like.
Yeah, it has to be.
What prop do you like?
I mean, he only has rushing yards up at the moment, which I would assume there's not really any value in taking him to do anything else.
Right.
So I'm fine with that. It's at 35.5.
Oh, I think he soars.
Yeah.
You see they're putting up a Tyreek Hill receiving touchdown prop, and he scored in the last 3 before his last 5.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I'm gonna be giving that under a look come Sunday.
It's nasty.
What about bowl games tomorrow? Have you guys looked
real
at those
quick,
yet?
real quick, because I feel like Jovan has a pretty good read on the Chiefs. That's the last game I want to touch on. I feel like the Chiefs might be the top team in a contrarian spot that I've got my eye on. Looks like with 10, because they haven't been covering. They're 1-8-1 in their last 10 ATS. Overtime against the Texans, didn't cover against the Broncos. Seahawks are a trendy dog. It's a lot of points with added rest. Are you going to be playing the Chiefs? I'm thinking about it. It's not a strong lean of mine, but I was eyeing the Chiefs in some facet.
I would love it. It's tough to fade the Seahawks, I guess, coming off of the point where everybody's starting to say, okay, the Geno wagon's dead. They lost the Panthers at home. Of course, they lost the Niners at home in a respectable game. I will say that. A lot of people, including myself, thought that one was going to be maybe a little bit uglier. So it's tough to fade them, but I definitely would lean the Chiefs. I don't know what the weather is going to be, if it's going to be significant there, but hitting the 49.5 total, so it can't be in that much.
Right.
But I do think the Geno wagon is dead, and I do think that the Seahawks team, especially this defense, is going to start coming down to earth, especially against the Chiefs team that matches up pretty well with them. So certainly lean them. Getting the 10. Wouldn't be shocked if we see a 9.5. That would make me a little more compelled to go against that move.
Krabs, you playing it?
Potentially. It sucks that Seattle also has been an anti-covering machine, but I'm definitely not playing the Seahawks. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I think if this line holds, I might be on the Chiefs. I mean, very rarely do I get to lay this team, and I'd be super in if they're not public and if that line holds.
Right.
The Chiefs have also not beaten the Seahawks since 2015.
Wow.
I know these guys don't play a lot, but the last 3 times they've played, the Seahawks have won them all.
Wow.
And the last time they played, they were a dog. So maybe Pete Carroll has Kansas City's number. Maybe Pete Carroll, low-key, has Andy Reid's number a little bit here. I don't know if that makes me like the Chiefs more or less, to be honest with you. So got to do some thinking. Got to wait to see what this line does with the money coming in. But definitely not betting Seahawks. No chance. I definitely lean KC. We can put that down. They -10 right now?
Yeah.
Let's hope they hold, right? Let's hope they hold. Because they did open up 10.5. Ugh.
Oh.
No more. What'd you say?
They did.
Yeah.
Am I tripping or no?
No, they did. They did.
Okay.
I wouldn't be worried about that.
Hold the line. Okay. Any other NFL for Saturday, and then we can jump into bowls?
I think we're ready.
Good. Okay. Bowl games. I don't know about you guys, but I've been hitting some bets on bowls. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Shout out Air Force last night. That was cool. I mean, they just wanted it. They wanted it more. I don't know if you guys watched that game. They wanted it more, and that's what happens. Military schools, you could say it's square or whatever, but they cover in bowl games, and it's not a coincidence. Just watch that game. Like it was night and day.
Baylor also respectfully.
What'd you say?
Baylor also just is bad.
Yeah, Baylor's given up. They suck. A lot of guys probably sat out. A lot of guys transferred. They don't give a shit. Their quarterback blows. We talked about this yesterday. They're not good. Yeah. That also helps. And Air Force low-key kind of sneaky good. They showed that last night. Anyways, all right. Bowl games. We got one Only one on tomorrow. I thought there were more. Middle Tennessee State, San Diego State. Wow, I wish it wasn't this shitty of a game too. San Diego State laying 7 here in this bowl game with the total sitting around 47 and a half. You guys got any leans in this game tomorrow? Middle Tennessee State has been kind of on fire to close the season and earn a bowl. I really don't have a lean in this game though, unfortunately.
No,
you guys got thoughts?
No.
Yeah, I don't.
The line has moved 5 points.
Yeah,
towards
assuming some starters going out, but I mean
for Middle Tennessee, yeah,
and honestly, even with them out or with them in, I guess this total looked a little high to me, especially with a San Diego State team that wasn't laying that many points at the time, and now that we're
going up too.
Yeah, we're seeing them at a 7. This total is starting to creep up a little closer to 50. If they're going to win, I don't think their defense is going to be able to hold Middle Tennessee to, a touchdown or less or anything like that. So I think they're going to have to score quite a bit to cover this number, which probably would be the side I'd lean to. So,
okay. And didn't you say that there was a trend where in bowl games, if the spread moves more than 4 points, they usually have some good success?
Yeah, the last 2 years they were 19-5. I don't know how it's been doing this year. I think it's about even or above. I think one of them was who played Washington State? Fresno State was one of them. Yeah, I think the one that didn't cover was Toledo moved like 4 points, I think. But yeah, I would lean that way as well.
Okay. Here's my thought process with that trend and bowl games, and I want you guys to give thoughts on this. So, most people know, at least I hope, that, a lot of people sit out or transferring or, there's some weird situations with these bowl games, right? Maybe a coach is leaving, whatever. And I think lines moving according to that stuff happening, I think it kind of bugs people out, or maybe people don't take that seriously enough to know that that's why the line's moving and their brains don't overcorrect enough where, for example, in this spot with San Diego State moving 5 points towards them, going from -2.5 to -7 or whatever it was, most people will be like, oh, Middle Tennessee State's getting 7 points here and both these teams have the same record. I'm going to take that. These teams are even. And they don't understand that, the spread moved that way because they didn't check the injury report and the fucking quarterback's sitting out. So make sure you guys are checking all the injury reports and stuff. And there's a reason these spreads are moving a ton. And just because it looks wrong, like last night with Air Force only getting 3 points against Baylor, has been one of the best college football teams in the last decade. There's a reason that these spreads are weird in bowl games. So bet accordingly. When I see something weird like that, when I see a line moving 4 or 5 points, I'm fucking taking it. And I think you probably should too, or at least not take the other side. You guys agree with that relatively, at least?
Yeah.
Okay. 18-4 with a 3-point line move. Our guy Tiger in chat saw this morning. Okay. What happened with the Jets line movement? I know that's NFL, but that was awful last night. Trap line move. Maybe it was because every person on earth I know was on the Jets, including myself, and that moved the line. That could have been it.
I think there was also some bad news and good news that we didn't really focus on enough, with Travion Walker not playing, Cam Robinson being out for the Jags, and then Quinnen Williams being in for the Jets. So yeah, we got a little duped. It was just one of those, again, you kind of have to play, but then I just hate the justified reasoning for a line move like that. It just makes too much sense. And then you watch stream and you see everybody's on the fucking Jets. So props for Jovan sniffing that out before us. But yeah, it was.
If you watch the pregame of Thursday Night Football, you would have thought that the Jaguars were going to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
When I was watching that stuff, it was making me feel better about Zach Wilson and the Jets.
Sure.
And then we get into the game and the Jets O line looked like they were, Pee Wee football, middle school. Zach Wilson looked terrible. Don't get me wrong, but that was the worst O line I've seen all year in the NFL.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing well against that. And I've watched the Manders O line this year, and that was worse. Nobody does well in that. And I don't think it was a coincidence that they put in Rando McGee, Gardner Minshew, knockoff, Tim Tebow-esque guy who I don't even remember his name. I don't think it was a coincidence that when they put him in, the line started to block better. I don't think they fuck with Zach Wilson at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't think they want to block for him.
Yeah.
Straight up. They put in Rando McGee with the tats they picked up off the street. And the guy was incredible. Strevler. Yeah, he was fun. He was fun as shit to watch. It was night and day when he went in the blocking. It made no sense. It made no sense. And yeah, Matt, Zach Wilson blows. Don't get me wrong. But that Jets O-line blew, maybe even worse last night. Straight up. All right, let's move to today because that's what people care about most.
Yeah.
All right. We got plenty of bets today. Let's talk about them. We could talk about these bowl games first, since a couple of them are starting up soon.
I think
Are you guys playing Houston with them having all their guys pretty much playing? The line moving from -3.5 to -6.5. I mean, the Cajuns, I don't really know what their injury status is or who's playing for them, but I know Houston's trying to win this game, at least from what I've seen with who's playing for them. You guys got any thoughts?
Yeah, and I mean it's come back a little bit. I think it's starting to see a couple more 6.5s, but I mean I'll tell you what I've seen a lot of this morning. It's Lafayette +7, and I'm
really
I'm not the biggest fan of that. Coming with obviously the line move has a lot to do with personnel, but you can tell with the guys they have coming back specifically with Toon, and I forget the name of their 1-star wide receiver. Like you said, they're trying to win this game. And I don't know that I trust Lafayette's pass defense to kind of contain them. I don't know if I'm going to play it because it's probably going to be, by the numbers, at least a little public, but I ain't going after Lafayette.
Jen, what do you like in this one?
Well, I like the under. I'm actually on the under. I've already placed it. I think what I like, you always, when you see teams like Houston, everybody always expects points. And I mean, they usually deliver. So I really like, I think this total opened around 60 and it's down to like 55.5 or 56. So I'm pretty late to the party, but I don't really care. And then I was looking at Lafayette and I mean, they have a pretty good defense overall. And they've, in the last 3 games, they haven't allowed more than 17 points. And then you look at the points being scored just by both teams, really. I mean, you know, you would expect a shootout in this game. I don't think we're going to get it. And then that started making me think, you know, I'm itching for some 3 p.m. action. My wife's down out for the day. So, you know, I don't usually always play a side in a total, but I was going to dabble with Lafayette. And the reason was, you know, the people are playing for Houston. And then you've got that line move from 7 down to 6.5. I mean, once I saw that, you know, my eyes rose and I was like, oh, well, fuck, I might dabble with both here. So I was going to play Lafayette because the total trending down makes me think that Houston's offense might struggle. It makes me lean towards the dog, but by no means is that my favorite play. I certainly like the under more in this game than anything.
Okay. Yeah, this game is gross. I honestly like the second game better, so I'm down to move on to that, but it seems like the read here is probably Houston and the under. For this game. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to Wake Forest and Mizzou. This is a little bit of a better game. I need thoughts on this. The line move towards Wake Forest. Mizzou's got a lot of guys sitting out, especially on their defense. I think a couple of their best defenders are going to the league, actually, and declared, or at least trying to. So they are not playing. I want to take Wake here. I know that's bad news for Mizzou. Look, Mizzou being 6-6 this year, I mean, props to them. They've already won this year. That's incredible. Good for them, making a bowl. This Wake Forest team, extremely disappointing. Extremely disappointing this season. Mainly Sam Hartman, their quarterback, extremely disappointing. And I'd imagine he's probably fallen a little bit in some of these NFL draft boards. I'm assuming he's probably fallen a good amount. So I think he's got something to prove. He's playing today. And I think he's going to go out there and try to win this game by 100. Because he has to. He has to. He's really shit the bed, and they've lost 4 or 5 going into the end of the season here. So I want to fade Mizzou, who's coming off an outright win against Arkansas, winners of their last 2, and a Miracle Bowl appearance here from a typically pretty shitty program. And I want to back Wake Forest, who's been underperforming all year. Thoughts?
Yeah. Kind of the same side. I don't want to buy into Mizzou because I do think that Hartman and I think Perry's playing this bowl game too. That's a big deal. And I think you're going to really try out and show up for this bowl game. But what does interest me is the total a little bit too, because that's coming down after all of the defensive injuries that we've seen on this Mizzou defense. It's really carried them throughout the season to get to this bowl game. So that's coming down to, I think, 58.5 now. So, I mean, I lean Wake and I certainly lean that under.
I'm on the other side. I'm on the other side. It's nice. Okay. It's nice to disagree on here every now and then.
I agree.
I'm not going to say
yes, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm passionate about it. It's a little bit of selling the good news and fading Hartman playing, although it makes sense that he underachieved and this is his time to prove it. And even with Missouri, I kind of follow this Missouri team. They were funny enough, they're my biggest bet of the college football season against.
I remember great bets,
which I think is fucking hilarious. So I couldn't name one player on this team, but what I like is the Sam Hartman. I was thinking about fading Wake Forest. I like fading these guys coming into the year with expectations. We saw it with Brock Purdy at Iowa State. We saw it with Sam Howell at UNC, and then this year Cameron Rising, Utah, etc. So I don't necessarily think that he plays very well today. I like that the total was trending down, and I think it might be these ACC guys, they're going to find out pretty quickly, I think, even with backups, that an SEC defense is just a different animal. So I'm kind of banking on that. I did see the line. I saw it crept back a little bit to Missouri. I do like that, but I am by no means super confident. I'm just going to play Missouri for a unit. I could see this actually being a pretty tight game. I think if you're going to play Wake, you should play them on the money line. I think it's probably 130, 140. Oddly enough, I could see them. I'm going to take Missouri at 3. Missouri plays close games. I can't think of many times they got blown out, except actually when they went on the road against a Big 12 team. Who was that? Was that Kansas State?
Yep, Kansas State.
They got their ass kicked there. But I think even with the starters sitting, I think the backups probably want to show up and show out like this is their opportunity, So I expect a close game, and I'm going to get Missouri at 3.
Now, people in chat are bringing this up, and I appreciate it. Good work, gents or ladies in chat. Sam Hartman, a lot of talks about him potentially putting his name in the transfer portal after this game. A lot of people are saying that he might be going to South Bend, taking his talents to Notre Dame. A simple search in Twitter will show you everything you need to know. So it's got to be true if it's on Twitter. But it could be true, could not be. I see a lot of people bitching about tampering, a lot of people bitching about it. So if that's the case, I don't know if I want to be backing him. Do you think his team is going to want to fucking rally around him when he's about to enter his name in the transfer portal and leave tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know how much I like that or how much I don't care about it. But it's definitely not good.
I'll
Wake Forest is public too.
Yeah. Somebody just pointed this out. It's a reason I don't love Missouri is I just found this out an hour or two ago. They turned down Kansas in a bowl game to play this game. I actually, that makes me want to stay off a little bit. I'm just going to do it for a unit, but I hate when that happens where it's like you say no to, and I guess they're a rival too with Kansas. I don't know.
Yeah, they're pussies.
Yeah, I don't want to bet on bitches. So that gives me some concern and some second guesses. And it always works out like that. It's like, oh, we'd rather have this opponent than that opponent's like, oh, well, fuck you. You know what I mean? We're gonna play a little bit harder then. So yeah. I think it's a good point to bring up.
Our guy in chat saying they turned down. His name is Jayhawk Jack. So you take this as you take this as seriously as you need to. But Jayhawk Jack is saying they turned down Kansas because the game was at the same time as a Kentucky hoops game.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. But
okay.
It is what it is. Still
are you taking anything in this game? Are you taking Wake Forest? What are you doing?
I'm gonna wait for any moves. If we see a trip up to 3, I'll lay the ML. If not, I'm probably gonna stick with the under. I know people are saying. I heard somebody mention in chat they're expecting wins for this game. I can tell you firsthand, the wind is fine.
It's right by you.
Yeah, the wind is fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine game time. So don't worry about any weather. But I think to Jen's point, I think they're going to be shocked a little bit. Not shocked, but a little stunned from the physicality of the Mizzou defense, even with those backups in. So I'll bank on that a little bit.
Mizzou turned the game down because they were going to lose $3+ million.
Yeah, but if you know that as public knowledge, what is that going to tell you? They're not going to tell you. You're not going to know why they turned down the game, the full extent of that.
What does that mean? They were going to lose $3 million if they didn't turn on this game? I don't even know what that means. Please explain, brother. It's neutral site. Yep, all bowls are in there. They got low balled. They got low balled by the bowl. The bowl games say we're not going to pay you enough to come play, and they're like, "Fuck that, we're not coming." Okay, interesting. I guess there is more stuff behind the scenes like that we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the fact that like Mizzou, Kansas is obviously going to generate a lot more revenue. So how much are they really going to lose? In reality, they're not going to tell you that.
Yeah, that sounds like a wicked excuse. DeGen, people are saying in chat that they may have turned down that bowl game because the bowl didn't offer them enough coin to play in it.
Yeah.
That seems like a wicked excuse, if you ask me. Okay. Well, we just went over some college football for tonight. Do you guys prefer ice or NBA? Do you have any plays in that shit, or do you want to go to CBBs? What do you want to do?
I got a play I love in the NBA.
Yeah.
You got some NBA plays you like?
I do. It's a big slate too. I think it's 14 games.
Okay. Maybe. Well, why don't we go to your first your favorite play of the night in the NBA? What do you like?
I fucking love the Raptors, man.
I think I've heard this before.
Yeah, well, I just played them for 2 units against the Knicks, and they came through. I think we were all sweating that one, if I'm not mistaken. I'm back to
sharp recently.
Yeah, I'm back to him, man. Especially after a team like that goes through a slump of losing to my Orlando Magic back-to-back games. Never good. I like him here. I mean, I call them the can't lose Cavaliers right now, especially at home. 16-2 at home against the Cavs
Damn.
are. Yeah. They're 22-11 on the year, 7-3 ATS their last 10. They just beat the Bucks. So I just love what the line's doing, or what it's not doing, rather. Open 4.5. It's kind of staying 4.5. Everybody's betting Cleveland. So I really like that. And also, again, it's just kind of one of those teams you find that are better than they're playing. It's early. They're going through some struggles. And the Knicks were on fire. I think they won 6 or 7 straight before that loss against Toronto, and Siakam had 50 points. So I think that was a good get-right spot. And, I feel like maybe this is a lot of the same reasoning that I had for the Flames last night who didn't come through. But, yeah, I'm sticking with Toronto here. I like it. I'm taking the 4.5. I think they'd probably even win outright.
Okay. I wish they didn't come off that big outright win against the Knicks, I'll be honest with you. Although they were only +2. It wasn't like they're +10.
Yeah.
But before that, they were on a crazy losing streak too. So Cleveland's also on a winning streak. I know we're not trying to just fade streaks here.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, also if you want to just look at the fucking splits, I mean, Cleveland is the most heavily bet spread and ML. 75% of bets on the spread, 82% of bets on the ML for the Cavs. So everyone's betting them. Line ain't moving. Give me the Raptors. And give me the mad scientist. Is that what they call him? The Raptors coach? I like him.
Oh, Nick Nurse? Yeah.
I like him
too. I got one more in the NBA. I love the Spurs. Mm-hmm. Again, my Orlando Magic, but they're riding a little too high too. And something I've identified, I think I brought to your attention, these dogs around this number of 7 and 7.5. They've been covering and winning outright at times. So this is the number I like, and I love. This is another system that I've been following. Teams on the second leg of a back-to-back after a loss. That's what you have with San Antonio. So San Antonio just lost last night to the Pelicans. I think we all played the Pelicans because we bought the bad news with Zion. And it sounds so fucking silly, man, but this is just what you have to do to navigate the, fucking NBA and try to win more than you lose. So yeah, I'm on the Spurs +7. I think it actually, according to covers, it moved down to 6.5. Tickets look fairly split too. And I mean, this Magic team has been playing out of their minds. And I've even heard some people taking a shot at them to win their division because they don't trust the Heat and the Hawks at like 125-1. So yeah, let's cool it on the Magic talk a little bit, as much as, I am a fan of their team, but Gary Harris and Wendell Carter Jr. are back tonight as well. Fucking load me up. I'm putting another unit on the Spurs.
That's all it took. That comment from Fat Girls Inc. to get you to put another unit on it.
I'll send you a fucking gift card to Applebee's if it comes through. Thank you very much for bringing that to my attention.
Gosh, make sure you don't skimp on the amount on there. I know that place is cheap, but it is Fat Girls Inc. Come on now. All right. Jovan, you like those two plays?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Those are two that I was certainly looking at, them and maybe the Mavs. I like fading everybody's favorite team, the Rockets, who just continually never come through in the last couple weeks that everybody's been betting on. Nobody loves betting the Mavs either because they don't cover for shit. So seeing a big number of 7 here, wrap it up.
Love that.
Okay. Mavs. I feel like those are the 3 teams we always talk about. in the NBA. I feel like we talk about the Mavs, Toronto, and the Spurs a lot.
Yeah.
But hey, if they're paying, they're paying. All right. I like it. Any CBB today, Jovan? Short cards. A lot of teams that played yesterday. A lot of like these weird like invitational things that are going on, kind of.
Yeah, that's what makes it weirder. It's like it's already hard with the matchups that we have, but then we have some of these teams like like an SMU, like Iona and Seattle coming off of games yesterday and these tournament style things. Like makes it really, really difficult. I don't feel fairly confident about much on the card today. I'll be honest with you.
Wow.
Other than
I'd rather you be honest with me.
Trez Jackson Davis is going to feast today. But,
wow, against Kennesaw State, hot take there.
Yeah, hot take there. I mean, it's a dream matchup for the guy because I think their tallest guy for Kennesaw State's like 6'6". So like, obviously TJD is not massive, but in the situations where he goes out and has a triple double, has 15 boards or whatever, it's against super small teams. That's why you can't do much against Kansas and some of these other teams that are bigger. So I'll be taking a look at his squares today.
Yes, Danny, that's not even a debate, brother. Don't you worry. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a whole nother tier. I don't even put those in the same tier. Give me a break.
Nowhere
Applebee's and Chili's. Chili's is up there with like Ruth's Chris for me. Maybe better.
That's crazy.
All right. There is an absolute electric mid-major college basketball game tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time. George Washington, a team that I saw play in person the other night, a team that's very underrated, a team that almost just fucking upset. Who'd they play last night? Washington State, who's not that great, but plus 10.5. They should have won that game. Washington State had a crazy buzzer beater 3 just to beat them. This team has incredible guard play. George Washington does in Brendan Adams. And I don't know why I'm forgetting the other kid's name. Their legitimate best player. What the fuck is his name? He's literally 1,000-point scorer and one of the best mid-major players. James Bishop, the kid from Baltimore, is averaging 22 points a game. Now you look over at Pepperdine last night. I don't know if you guys watched that game. You probably didn't because it was Pepperdine. Pepperdine looked atrocious against Hawaii. But Hawaii hit pretty much every single 3 they took in that game. It was nuts. And then towards the end, Pepperdine looked like a completely different team. They almost came back and covered that game at the last second. They had an incredible second half. I liked what I saw out of their guy, Maxwell, who's their best player, who also averages 20 points a game. He's a bigger guard, and he should feast in this matchup with smaller guards for George Washington. I kind of want to take Pepperdine here. That might be my only CBB play that I really love today. And I hate to fade my guys at George Washington, my guys from DC. But Pepperdine probably shouldn't be the favorite here is kind of the point I'm getting at. And if that moves to 4, God forbid it would ever do that, I'm going to be in for sure. It is a little public. It's like 60-40 on Pepperdine's, but that might be the only play I really like in CBBs tonight. Jovan, are you laying the points with Indiana tonight?
I might think about it. I might. Not running to it. Not running to anything today. But, I mean, the one thing about that George Washington game, which I do kind of lean Pepperdine too, is a back-to-back for both of these teams, obviously. And George Washington, that was a tough physical, emotional game. They played against Washington State last night, which they already kind of looked a little gassed a lot through that game. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some tired legs from both sides, really, but especially them. So wouldn't mind the under with as high as this total is, which is high for a reason because Pepperdine, they run and gun. They maybe a little better than George Washington, a little less tired. They should definitely have a shorter flight to get there yesterday. But yeah, I think there would be some tired legs here.
Okay. All right. And then Iona's playing Seattle. Seattle is the softest team in college basketball. Iona should absolutely body them and own them and win this game by 10+, to be honest with you. Jen, good call on fade Seattle yesterday. I don't know if you took Utah State, but great call if you did.
First half. That's the only play I got today. I got my eye on. I wanted to ask you guys about. I like these big favorites. First halves have been cashing like crazy lately. The one I wanted to take today, I was going to go back to Utah State, but I'm not going to. What about Rutgers? Seems like it's a lot of points for Rutgers. Record-wise, they're kind of similar to Bucknell, 7-4 against 7-5. I know Rutgers has been playing some good teams pretty tough. I'm looking at their recent games. But it looks like 70% of the bets are on Bucknell, according to covers, and the line's not really moving at 19.5. So I was thinking about Rutgers first half. Probably get them around 10, 10.5. I don't know what you thought about that. Nah,
Bucknell is definitely a public dog today.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm not personally a Rutgers believer. I really don't like betting on this team because they're so inconsistent. I really try to focus on betting on more consistent teams in college basketball, which is hilarious to say out loud because it's like the least consistent sport there is probably to bet on.
Yeah.
I never really bet on Rutgers, so I'll leave that to Jovan. But I definitely am not betting Bucknell with the points today. That's for sure. No chance.
Yeah, I will say though, because what scares me the most, and Capwise has talked about this a couple times during the week, but the big advantage to Rutgers and why they catch so many points and so much line respect at home is because of the home court advantage that they have at the Rec. And now we have I don't say it's going to be empty, but it's certainly a much different environment with no students and the day before Christmas Eve.
Wow.
So that home court might be diminished just a little bit today. It might be a little more strange of an atmosphere. So that would worry me about taking Rutgers.
That's a great point. Damn. Okay, I'm off. By the way, this guy in chat has asked about Coppin State 150 times. So I feel like you guys have to give him your thoughts on Coppin State.
Okay. I mean, I'm not rushing to bet Coppin State today after Coppin State just fucking beat JMU outright when they were plus 17 in their last game and they put up 107 points. I'll tell you what I'm not doing, and I'm not betting on Coppin State today. But don't let George Mason get hot. I mean, George Mason has a really good big. I mean, Jovan, I know Coppin State has what is his name? Sessions, who's a really good scorer, guard, I think. But I don't really know how Coppin State is in the paint. If they don't have a good big man, I think George Mason rolls in this game. They've got a center who has crazy good hair. He looks like Anderson Varejao. He is really good, and George Mason's been playing great. They have a really good coach too. They're just a way better program, night and day, not even comparable, to be honest with you. I think you fade Coppin State. You take George Mason here, who's been playing good ball of late. Started out slow to the season, but playing good ball late, have a good coach, have a better team, really good big man. I don't know what the splits are at. Let's see. Dude, Coppin's public too. I might be on George Mason's.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about tired legs too. They just played a double OT,
207-point game running with. Finish your thought. You're correct. I was about to steal your thunder.
I mean, that was the thought. I'm saying that two overtime game, super high scoring, super high tempo for most of that game, especially second half and both the overtimes. That's going to be a spot for tired legs right there, especially against the George Mason team that is far more physical than Coppin State is ever going to be.
So you're thinking maybe don't target first half here, even though it is kind of a fatter spread. You think that Coppin State might be gassed?
I would go full game here after the game they played yesterday. Yeah, I think those tired legs are going to kick in after a bit, especially when they get in the big Oduro in the paint.
Yeah, Oduro. Yep, that's his name. That's Varejao 2.0. He might be better. He might be better.
Just might.
All right. I'm liking that more now that we're talking about it. Okay. Kid asked 50 times to support his Coppin State play, and all three of you jump on George Mason. Incredible. Matt, I hope you would expect nothing less, I'd assume, from this stream. Come on now. We're not yes men on here. Come on. We're going to give it to him straight. All right. I might be on George Mason's, honestly, after looking at that. Holy shit. Anyways, we gotta put the squad right together, gents. Is there any – I don't want to hear any reasonings. I don't want to hear any nothing. But is there a hockey play that you guys had money on that you really like today?
I have two. Jovan, you want to go first?
You can go ahead.
I mean, actually, I have three, but I'm not gonna give you the Devils because I'm worried that it might be a little bit of a trap with the Bruins being on a back-to-back. But I do like the Devils. I'll make them quick. I'll fly through them. The Predators are catching my eye. I know they've won 2 in a row, but before that, I think they lost like 5 or 6 in a row. They're playing the Avalanche. The Avalanche have been playing really well. And they just played a couple games ago, and the Avalanche beat them 3-1. I think that line might be a little short. But the one I like the most today it's so chalky, but I just think hockey is a chalky sport. I think it's the one that hits. Although every time I pull up a chair to the fucking squares table, they stop serving food. But I like the Oilers. Big number, 210 up to 240. They're playing the Canucks. Canucks are on a back-to-back. We know what they just did for us last night. So Yeah, like the Predators, Devils, and Canucks are probably my top 3 in hockey.
Are you taking? Oh, you're saying Canucks. You're taking.
Oh! I'm sorry, the Oilers.
Are you taking -1.5?
Probably.
I mean, I hope so.
Or regulation. Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I don't mind laying the 240, but then adding something to it. Like 1.5 units on the 240, then a half unit or something on the regulation.
I mean, it's looking like this total is going to go to 7 if it's not already on some books.
Yeah.
So there's going to be goals. There are some 7s already. So there's going to be goals in this game. If you're going to take a -1.5, maybe this is the spot.
Agreed.
Jovan, you got any plays up your sleeve real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it quick. I like the Panthers. I like the Blues. Especially back-to-back for the Isles after playing their mini little Stanley Cup against the Rangers. They fell just short. Big physical game, high-speed game against the Panthers team who hasn't been fantastic as of recently. I think they've lost, 3 of 4 against good teams, albeit. But I think this move is a little indicative of what we're going to see. I assume we're going to see Varlamov tonight, which is, I guess that's bad news. I'm okay with buying. So I'm good with them. Good with the Blues, too. That would probably be my favorite dog play.
Okay.
Just those.
All right. Well, let's craft up the squad ride because we need a revenge play before the holidays. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's keep it quick here. It looks like Varlamov is on the IR. Jovan, does that make you like it even more because now they're going to be pulling up their fucking third string?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with buying whoever for this game, to be honest with you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That makes me like it better.
If we see a tired Sorokin, so be it. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. Let's go around. What are your guys' favorite plays of today? Any sport, anything. To put you on the spot here, Jovan, what's your favorite play today?
Oh, Lord. I mean, it would probably have to be the Panthers, but probably not saying much. Hate the slate. Absolutely hate it. Despise it.
I like Nashville. I don't like anything hockey today, but we can go with Nashville. I like that.
Florida. Florida.
Oh, Florida Panthers. I don't know why I thought you
That's
said
a good.
Preds.
I like that a lot. I think the Islanders are a bad team. I'm gonna play the Panthers as well.
Okay. Florida Panthers, your favorite play today, Jovan.
Yeah.
Awesome. DeGen, what about you, brother?
Raptors.
Okay. Toronto +4.5. Sure.
Coppin.
I want to see what this Pepperdine line's doing.
Oh, you want to put Pepperdine?
I do. I want to put Pepperdine in there.
Damn. Okay.
I do. I'm not lying. Little bounce back spot for Pepperdines.
Bounce back.
I'm gonna go Pepperdine.
Okay.
-3.5. I think we keep it at that. Our favorite plays of the day. We attack. It's gonna go 2-1, and we get a winner going into the holiday season. Cool.
That works.
Let's do it. Josh, fire up the poll. We got Florida Panthers ML. We got Toronto +4.5 in the NBA, and we got Pepperdine -3.5. Take me home, peace. Take me home, peace.
What's your record on the year? 28-14.
28-15. Thanks for bringing it up, you jerk.
Oh, it's a great record. What are you talking about? What are you expecting to be 40-0?
Yeah. Job's not done. Job's not finished. Not good enough.
Look, I'm no mathematician, but that's got to be near 65% that you're hitting.
It was 67% yesterday. Now it's a little lower. I'm fucking pissed.
Yeah, well, if my record is 64%, you can bring it up anytime you want. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Sure. Wow, the people want to go back to the ice after last night. They got some unfinished business. No
PTSD. Wow.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
This chat. It's the sharpest chat I think maybe out there. Maybe your guys in the boardroom, DeGen. You might be putting up a fight, but these guys are sharp and these guys mean business and they're coming back for revenge. They're not scared of nothing.
Yeah.
Some people might stray away from NHL after Calgary literally motherfucked us last night. These guys in chat here, these guys don't give up and they're not scared of anything, so they're going back to the ice with the Panthers here.
No, I said it's impressive, man. It's you guys putting the options out there and the fact that everybody is voting on the winners is pretty cool.
People are freaking out saying reset the poll. I'm liking this play even better.
I was just gonna say that. I'll fucking load up on the Panthers now.
Let's go. Hell yeah. Well, I hope you guys, we got about 30 seconds. I hope you guys have a good holiday. I appreciate you guys obviously coming on here as well. Reset it. Matt 2 Faded is on the Panthers. Okay.
Great.
Okay. You know what? I don't want to fade him, and he's coming off a tough day, right? Or did his parlays all hit? Did his shit all hit?
I don't know who we're talking about.
Oh.
Don't
No.
think so.
Oh, you think he swept last night?
Oh well, no. His play of the year is cracking money line, so I think he's definitely in a bounce back spot.
Did that lose? That lost? Okay.
Oh, yeah, bro. We had the Canucks.
Yeah, the Canucks also tickled, bro. That was terrible.
Yeah,
terrible. Hey, bad night on the NHL last night. I kind of like that we're going back to it. Job's not done. Job's not finished. We're going Florida Panthers, ML, on the ice tonight to bring the coins back. Let's have a profitable weekend. Everyone have a good, safe, happy holidays, safe travels if you guys are moving around. I know I always appreciate you guys coming on here and giving out winners. So have a great weekend. To Jen, appreciate you, my man. Jovan, you as well. Chat, you guys too. Have a good holiday. Get some money. Make sure you keep grandma's check safe so you can put it in your bank account and fire it off on a parlay next week when we're back. Okay?
Why not?
We'll be seeing you.